S. Chan presents educational video lectures as per the AICTE curriculum. Difficult concepts made easy. Study anywhere, anytime.
Hello students, do you know why English is important these days? Because English is a global language. It's a lingua franca which connects you across all the cultures throughout the country. So we need to be knowing this language so as to get good jobs, and of course it helps you to seek employment placements. It helps you in interviews, and especially for engineers, if you are going for placements, knowledge of good English, of course, helps you to seek the job of your choice. Today, we are going to discuss the most important topic, which is vocabulary building and word formation in English. Welcome to S. Chand Academy. I am Dr. Vidushi Bhardwaj. To know more about the subject, word formation and vocabulary building, you may refer to this book by Kaz Publications. The link has been given below. So let us start with the first topic, which is vocabulary building in English. Vocabulary, what does it mean? It is a concept related to words, either the words in a specific language or the words that a particular person understands and can use. To understand the language and to know the language well, you must have a good vocabulary and good command over the language, which you can acquire only if you have good vocabulary. People acquire and use words within their vocabulary in a variety of ways, but primarily through listening and reading. So there are different ways of improving your vocabulary, which we'll discuss later. But building your vocabulary skills can increase your ability to communicate in writing, conversing, or making speeches. Acquiring a large vocabulary will benefit you professionally at work. You will be able to speak well, you will be able to write well, and socially also it will be an asset for you. It will enable you to understand others' ideas better and to have the satisfaction of getting your thoughts and ideas across most effectively, which is very important. Now let us move ahead with the concept of word formation. In linguistics, language, the word formation is the creation of a new word. How we make a new word. Word formation is sometimes contrasted with semantic change. Semantic change means a change in a single word's meaning. The boundary between word formation and semantic change can be difficult to define. A new use of an old word can be seen as a new word derived from an old one. So it's easier to attain new words from the older words, and they are identical to it in form, but we have to understand how is it done. So there are a number of methods of word formation. The first method is derivation, the second is compounding, third is blending, then we have acronym, loaned words, and neologism. These are the different ways of word formation. Let us proceed with the first one, which is derivation. What does it mean? Derivation in general means the formation of a word from another word or base and the relation of a word to its base or root. We'll give examples also a little later. In compounding, the compound is a lexeme, less precisely a word that consists of more than one stem. Compounding occurs when two or more words are joined to make one longer word. The component stems of a compound may be of the same part of speech, or as in the case of the English word footpath, composed of the two nouns foot and path. So they may belong to different parts of speech, as in the case of the English word blackbird, composed of the adjective black and the noun bird. So it takes a lot of effort to understand that out of these compound words, what are the different words which are making a compound word. Third is blending. This blending means that in linguistics, a blend word is one formed from parts of two or more than two words. That means a blend of two words or other words. These parts are called morphemes, the smallest grammatical unit in a language. We have several examples. We can proceed and then we will discuss the examples a little later. Formation. Most blends are formed by one of the following methods. The end of one word is appended to the beginning of the other. For example, when we have a word like smoke plus fog, smog is the new word which forms out of smoke and fog. So the beginnings of two words are combined. For example, cyber is a blend of cybernetic and organism. So when these two words are blended, they become a common word, an important word, which is cybernetic. The word motel is a blend of motor and hotel. Now, there is something which is known as acronym. Acronym is a word or name formed as an abbreviation from the initial components of a phrase or a word, usually individual letters. Now, this is a very important thing in word formation, vocabulary building. We have NATO, and sometimes we have NATO, we have AIDS, we have word like UNICEF, we have word like UNESCO. These are all acronyms. Acronyms are pronounced as a word containing only initial letters which carry an independent entity and identity of its own. So we have several examples here. Now we talk about the loan words. What do we mean by loan words? It's a word or a phrase borrowed from another language by literal word for word or root for root translation, which means that in English we have certain words from other languages which we use in our day-to-day life, and they become a very important part of our own vocabulary. So loan word means that we have borrowed words from the other languages, and that is how they become a part of our own vocabulary. And they are the words which are the foreign words and phrases taken from several languages, like especially from French and German. So it is a word or phrase borrowed from another language by literal word for word or root for root translation, and we borrow or take a word from another language. So beauty of these words is that they are appropriate substitutes of what would need a few lines to say. So the entire word can replace an entire line at times, because of which, of course, we use lesser lines for a single thought. So for example, some of the loan words from French are Adam's apple, by heart, governor, staircase, marriage of convenience, agenda, pineapple, which is a word from the Dutch language, antibody, which is a word from the German language, scapegoat, alma mater, muscle, and ad hoc. And there are several other examples we have which are the foreign words. Again, there are certain root words which we have to understand for the word formation and vocabulary building in English. A root is the basic unit of a word. It is the form of a word after all affixes are removed. It is what is left after you remove all the affixes. The prefixes like un or anti and suffixes like able and ation are removed. So there are many root words that can be used on their own or as parts of other common words in English language. We need to understand root words to understand the word formation, because with the help of root words, we will be able to improve our word building also. So these are also referred to as base words. For example, act can be acting. From ego, we can have a word like egotist. From legal, we may have illegal. From normal, we may have a word like normality. And from phobia, we may have a word which is claustrophobia. So the root words are act, ego, legal, normal, phobia. And when we add certain things here, of course, there is a new word out of this root word. So this important root word phenomenon is very important to understand in order to understand the vocabulary building. So root words can be helpful in improving our vocabulary. When we know root words, we can recognize the basis of any word and use that knowledge to help us to define a word. Linguists, scientists who study language refer to the root as the base or foundation of a word. It's the base of a word, it's the foundation, and it appears as a part of many words. However, anytime it appears in a word, port, the word port, P-O-R-T, it means to carry or to move. So we may have airport, but we may be using it in different ways like transport. So it gives the meaning of carrying or moving to any word it is a part of. So when you see words that include port, like transport, portable, teleportation, deport, export, you know these words have something to do with carrying or moving. This is something which is a concept we will understand only by way of practice and using these words very, very frequently. So here we come to the end of part 1 of the presentation, where we discussed about the vocabulary building, word formation and root words. And after this, in part B, we will carry on with more about root words, suffixes and prefixes, synonyms and antonyms, and other part of the vocabulary building. To know more about the subject, word formation and vocabulary building, you may refer to this book by Kaz Publications. The link has been given below. If you like the video, please like, share and subscribe to our channel. Press the bell icon and keep looking for our future updates.
All rights reserved. This video has been prepared for educational purposes only. No part of it may be reproduced or copied without the permission of the copyright holder.